क्रिस्टीन, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर टॉकिंग टू अस। नाजरीन, आज हम बात कर रहे हैं क्रिस्टीन पीटर से। पील पुलिस में मेंटल हेल्थ कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं और आज हम इनसे बात करेंगे कुछ जो कोस्ट के इनके प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं और बहुत सारे लोगों को पेंडेमिक के बीच में हो गई हैं मेंटल हेल्थ के इश्यूज। तो हमने सोचा कि पील पुलिस का ये जो एक है अदारा, तो ये क्या काम कर रहा है, तो उसके लिए आज हमने इनवाइट किया था क्रिस्टीन पीटर्स को। क्रिस्टीन, वेलकम टू आवर शो।
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, Christine, my dear, first of all, tell us what exactly is COAST? What is this program and what does it do?
So we actually have two programs with our service now, but the one that's been around since about 2004 is the COAST team. So that's our Crisis Outreach Assessment Support team. So we're partnered with the Canadian Mental Health Association, Peel Dufferin. We have a mental health professional and a non-uniformed police officer that attend anyone within the community that might need some mental health support. We also have our MCERT team, which is our Mobile Crisis Rapid Response team, which is a similar program that is partnered with the Canadian Mental Health Association. However, this is a rapid response team. So this would be a uniformed police officer and a crisis support worker, so a mental health professional, that are partnered up, and they would attend emergent situations with persons in crisis that might need some additional supports and resources. So this would help to ensure that the needed level of care is accessible and also help reduce the number of unnecessary referrals to the emergency department.
Okay, this is great. Christine, the thing is that not really many people are aware of these programs that Peel Police is really have initiated and they are running. So what would you tell the community if anybody has a mental health issue, or if you see somebody in your neighborhood that somebody is suffering from that, what should be their response?
So there's a couple of different ways that people can get supports within the community. We do have, with the Canadian Mental Health Association, we do have a 24-hour crisis line. So for non-emergent situations, so something that doesn't require police, fire, ambulance, that sort of thing, there is a phone number that people can call when people are having a mental health or addictions crisis. So that is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by professionals, so crisis support workers. So that could be a social worker, an occupational therapist, a psychotherapist, a nurse, and they're all mental health professionals. The great part about that is that we're partnered with them. So if there's ever an incident that turns from a crisis to an emergency, we are able to have that communication where police could be dispatched right away. With the 24-hour line, if somebody were to call there for maybe a loved one or, like you said, somebody in their neighborhood, they can help support them a couple of different ways. They can help with phone support. They can help by having a team dispatch, so a team would come out. So the COAST team that would be dispatched that way would be a non-uniformed police officer. So the police officer would not be wearing a uniform. They would not be driving a cruiser that looks like a cruiser. It's what we call an unmarked cruiser. And they would be with a mental health professional. And they could come out to the community. So they could meet somebody in their home. They could meet them maybe in a park or at a Tim Hortons or somewhere like that, and help offer some support. The other team would be dispatched through our emergency services. So it's not something that a member of the public could call and ask for an MCERT team, but if somebody were calling because there was an emergency situation involving a person in crisis, they could call either 911 or our non-emergency police number, and through that, our communications would essentially triage the call to see whether an MCERT team could be dispatched. And in that case, it would be a fully uniformed police officer with a uniformed police car, but they would attend with a mental health professional. So they would be able to help assess the situation and de-escalate it, and that way there's somebody there that works in the mental health field that can help assist.
So what is that number?
So the number for the 24-hour crisis line is 905-278-9036. So that would be in a situation that is not an emergency. So it's not a life or death situation, but it's somebody who is in crisis. So somebody could call themselves. So if I were struggling with my own mental health and I needed some support, I could phone that number anytime, 24 hours a day, and get the support. Like I said, if somebody is in an emergent situation, though, and they need it's a life or death situation, then it's always 911. If it's not an emergency, but a little bit more than a crisis where they know that police need to come out, we can always phone the non-emergency police number. So that's 905-453-3311.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different avenues that someone could get some mental health support in an emergent situation.
Okay. Okay, Christine, my dear, during pandemic, we heard a lot of people went through mental health. People lost their jobs. They didn't know how to take care of the kids because the daycares were shut down. The children were not going into schools. The whole family was at home. There was a crisis in the house because there were news that, spouses were fighting and all those things. During the pandemic, in the last 7 or 8 months, how many complaints have you received, and how they were tackled?
Well, we respond to approximately 7,000 calls for service a year for mental health concerns. I actually don't have those statistics on hand for how it has changed over the pandemic. However, we do know that people's mental health has been struggling through this. People are isolated. People are stuck at home. There's, the homeschooling, that sort of thing. So I want to make sure that people know that we do have programs out here, both within the police and within our community, to help support people. But like I said, we do respond to an average of 7,000 calls just here in our region.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Christine, one more thing is people would really like to know that yours is such an organized organization, and the way these two, organizations under the umbrella of Peel Police are taking care of the community in such a brilliant manner in the realm of mental health. So, what exactly is your strategy, for example? What are the initiatives? How do you plan the whole thing, that if, for example, this crisis comes in, we will take this step. If this comes in, we will take... So what are your strategies that you sit on daily basis or maybe on regular basis and discuss to help the community suffering with mental health?
Well, we certainly continuously strive to do better. We're always having ongoing conversations with our community partners. We continue to work with partners in educating our officers and making sure that we have, the best product out there. We have a lot of initiatives on the go right now. One has just recently been launched with our Osler Health System for a transfer of accountability. And this is a new initiative for when police officers bring somebody to the emergency department under the Mental Health Act. So that is when somebody is apprehended under Section 17 of the Mental Health Act and they're brought to the hospital to be assessed. We have a new program in place with the hospital to better serve our members of the community, to make sure that they have good supports once they get there. But also it's a way to make sure that our police officers are back on the road responding to other emergencies a little bit faster. So this has been a great initiative. We've only launched about 2 months ago, but it's a great new protocol that we hope will continue and expand to other area hospitals as well. That's certainly something new. We also will be expanding our mobile crisis rapid response team in January. We'll be expanding that program, which is really exciting for us. That program has only been in existence since January of 2020, so this is exciting that within a year we're going to be able to expand on it and hopefully continue to grow that program as well.
Okay, Christine, I belong to the South Asian community, and you must be very well aware of the fact that it is really considered a taboo. People don't really come forward and talk about this issue, and as a result, they don't really get help. So, what would be your message to the community who have in or around or in their households people who have any of the mental health issues?
We have to remember that 1 in 5 of us will be affected by poor mental health at some point in our lives. And, we look at that number, and if you think about the collateral numbers with that's pretty much all of us at some point, well, either whether it's ourselves or a family member or a loved one, will struggle with their mental health. So, the issues in Peel are not unique to our region. People around the country, around the world, have mental health concerns, and we have to talk about it. We have to have these conversations. We have to make sure that people know where the resources are to get help, and just continuing to recognize that this is a part of our health system, and that there's no boundaries to it. It doesn't matter what community that you're a part of. None of us are immune to the possibility of struggling with our own mental health or one of our family members.
Okay, what would be your absolutely last thoughts about mental health issues in the Peel region? What would you like to say, or what would be your last message?
I think that having these conversations is very, very important, and continuing this dialogue with all of our communities. And we don't have all the solutions here in policing, but we certainly strive to be better, to educate ourselves more, and to make sure that everybody knows that they're supported, and that we're here for anyone who is struggling with their mental health, or for any of their family or friends that may be in crisis. We're all coping the best that we can right now, and we're definitely all in this together.
Okay, thank you very much, Christine, for your interview and comments. And I would just like you to once again repeat the number, the non-crisis number, where people can call and get help from Peel Police. Please, if you can repeat that for us.
So our Canadian Mental Health Association crisis 24/7 crisis support line is 905-278-9036. That is available to anybody within the region of Peel who is in crisis or needing some mental health supports. The number for Peel Police, that is a non-emergency number, is 905-453-3311. And then, of course, in an emergency situation, it's always 911.
Thank you very much, Christine. You've been very kind. Thank you very much for your time. And we are going to connect with you once again to get some more information to the community, and so that they know that help is there. They just need to dial these numbers. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.